Okay, there you go. Okay, I can hear you. How you doing?
Doing great. How about yourself, man?
I'm okay. Can you? It sounds like you're a little bit far away. Can you maybe turn your volume up or become a little bit closer to the phone?
Yes, I'm close up on the phone. Do you hear me well now?
Uh, Still sound a bit muffled.
Okay, say that to me.
We can hear the loudness, but it's not coming through clear at all.
How about now?
Okay, that's much better. Much better. So,
Hello?
yep, much better, Porter.
Okay.
Okay, so for clarity here, just for the audience's sake, what state are you calling from?
I'm calling from the Mississippi.
Mississippi. Okay, we have one from Mississippi, y'all. So appreciate you being brave enough to come on tonight. And so, what is your concern, brother?
Well, my primary concern when I thought about it and after listening to other people speak, I didn't think that that would be in order for me to speak about. So I have a secondary concern that I want to speak with you on is that I meditate a lot. And one morning I work at a portrait plant and I was coming down the loading dock after my meditation. And when I was coming down the loading dock, I was directly into the sun and something touched me in the chest and it stopped me. And when it stopped me, I was looking directly into the sun. And I stood there and looked directly into the sun and I was able to clear all those ultraviolet rays that they be talking about that the sun be projecting. And I cleared out everything and it was just a clear blue behind a disc. And I stood there and I looked at it and I looked directly into the disc. And it began to change colors. It went to silver, went to white, went to green, blue, purple. Then when it turned to green again, it turned into a green square with pink around it. And then spiral came down from the sun. And my spirit told me, I was standing up on the rail, I was on the loading dock. So it was a rail there at the loading dock. So my spirit told me to hold on to this rail real tight and look into the spiral. So when I held on to the rail real tight and looked into the spiral manifested itself. And when it manifested itself, it told me it said, breathe into your pineal gland. So when I breathed into my pineal gland, my spirit shot out of my body and went into that spiral. And I was holding onto the rail, so I just collapsed. When my spirit left my body, I just collapsed. And when I came back to, everybody was standing around me, and I was saying, wow, and I was telling them what happened, and everybody thought that I was crazy. I was telling them, I said, wow, I said, my spirit shot out of my body. But nobody could understand what I was saying. So they sent me to the dispensary. So when I went to the dispensary, this gentleman, he looked at me. He was checking me out to see if I was high or anything like that. And he would talk to me about my experience. And, well, he didn't speak about my experience. He said that, well, he spoke about my experience, but he said that I heard that you passed out. That's the way that he spoke about it. I said, yeah, I said, something happened. So he took my temperature and he said, well, he said, your temperature is proper. And then when he took my blood pressure, he looked at me and he stood back. He said, wow, man. He said, you got the blood pressure of an 18-year-old. He said, you've been touched by God. So I wanted to share that with you. I wanted to ask you. So anyway, they didn't want me to come back to work until I went to see a psychiatrist. So I went to see the psychiatrist. So the psychiatrist, he was trying to be serious, but when I was telling him about the things that was going on with me, she was trying to maintain her composure because she kind of thought that it was kind of far-fetched. And then when I had an experience that I told her about that she couldn't do nothing but, she discharged me. Told me that wasn't nothing wrong with it. Hello?
Yeah, I'm listening. So you said
Yeah.
you said a story. You told us a story, which was very fascinating. But is there when you made is there a question or something that you are alluding to with this story that you would like to present
Yeah,
today?
what I was asking you was that what do you think was 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 going on with that? I mean, what you think was happening?
Okay, so first, number one, you have to be very careful what you express to people.
Yeah,
Okay,
I know.
you
I
have to be, you
know.
have to be. But first
I
off,
know.
which we're going to get into that. Coincidentally, some of the scenarios that you and the other participants tonight presented, we're going to be talking about some aspects of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? In the monologue, which will be shortly. Okay, so there's no coincidences concerning that. But you have to be very careful. And that's for everyone. You have to be very careful what you express your innermost. Because like this, some things the spirit. Some will say spirit, some will say God, whatever. There are some things that are displayed only for you. Now, even though I may understand it, if you're in front of the wrong person, it's going to cause problems. If you express,
And it did.
yeah, and it
Yeah.
did, and it did.
Yeah.
It's a good thing that those problems didn't go even further than that. But the point where they said you couldn't work, and then from the point you couldn't work until you go see a psychiatrist. What if the psychiatrist would have admitted you, right? Because they do, once you are under their jurisdiction, they can do all types of things now. You get what I'm saying? And it's all because
That's
of,
right.
so with that, only thing I'm saying is that as a caveat to not only you, but to everybody who's listening, some things that are displayed to you are for you. The place that we are in is a spirit place, okay? It is a spiritual place, 100%. Divisive or division-like language, which we got into in the last Manifestation Wednesdays, that are created by the Dracons and Archons and everything else. One also dividing tactic was to call this place anything other than a spiritual realm, right? They call it the physical, okay? And they gave you all these reasons why it's the physical. Now, it doesn't mean it's true. Now some will say because they're basing their logic off of what they have been indoctrinated with, okay, and what they choose to believe, they may say, because we feel pain here when we bleed in the spirit place, in the higher heavens, we're not gonna, well, in the spiritual world, we're not gonna feel that at all. Who says that?
That's true.
You say, you get what I'm saying? Who's saying this? You know what I'm saying? How do you? No, this is a spiritual place, and you are feeling those things. Okay, so with that, um, so that's the caveat there. Next, the looking into the sun and the breathing into the penile, right? That is actually
Yeah.
a advanced technique. Okay, that's an advanced technique utilized to do certain things to the, let's just say to the, for what can be perceived in awareness, okay, when it comes to the person, you know what I'm saying? And so when you said these different
Yeah.
things of your experience, and when you specifically said that, I said, oh, that's very interesting, because what the spirit revealed to you and what you were, what happened to you at that time literally is a technique that is used in very advanced circles to do some very specific things, which I'm not going to name here because it would be
Yeah.
utilized wrongly. But so some of the things that the spirit reveals to us are for us and maybe to be shared with those who can handle it. So just make sure that you take heed of that, and for it to be revealed to you and for you to kind of have that experience, Let me ask you a question, brother, because that's very superhuman-like. Are you a big guy?
You know, I weigh 140 pounds. I'm alkaline.
Okay, okay. Well, you have a lot of internal strength to be able to hold that energy like that. Okay. Well, of course,
But you know what I can't.
go ahead.
But but you know what I can't do at will is hear. I can hear sometimes, but I can't hear at will.
You say you can hear sometimes, and what again?
I say sometimes I can hear, and sometimes I can't.
Oh, okay. You talking about physically hear?
Spiritually.
Oh, spiritually hear. Okay, spiritually hear.
Yeah,
Okay, okay. Uh,
yeah, yeah. We speaking spiritually. I'm speaking spiritually. Sometimes I can hear, and sometimes I can't. Sometimes I can hear you in California, in France, and sometimes I can't even hear you if you're standing right there to me. Not spiritually. Physically, I can, but spiritually, I can't.
hmm.
And then sometimes spiritually, I can hear everything.
You want to meditate, just meditate more. Sometimes now we are in a place where, see, in saying that what you said, right? So sometimes, let's say your higher spiritual ability works phenomenal, right? But then in other times it doesn't, right? Okay, so for those who may have experiences like that, there's a few different reasons for it. First off, our vibrations are going up and down all the time, right? So it could be us, right? But
Yeah,
also, you got to remember what is around us. We are being bombarded with EMF all the time. We are in grids.
that's right.
Most
Yeah,
of us are in grids. Okay, so most of us here live in cities, right? Most of us here do not live in the country. Okay, I don't want to say country. I mean country, whereas there's no cell phone towers, nothing, right? Most of us live
yeah,
in densely populated suburbs or in cities. So because of that, that means that 24/7, even if you're driving around, you're under a grid, okay? In that grid,
yeah.
uh, if it does not directly stop your higher self from elevating, it distorts it, it bombards it, and causes it to distort. So with that, just be aware of that. So sometimes some of the things, especially if you know that you are focused and everything else, and things is kind of at times a little off and everything else, it might not be you. Exactly, it might not, at least in some cases. Okay, it could be the environment you're also in. So just be aware of that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So
Thank
interesting,
you.
interesting story though. Very interesting story, brother. Keep what was revealed to you, because of course there's some intricacies concerning that I know of, but that I'm sure were revealed to you that you might not even realize right now. And so meditate and go deep into what was revealed into for you, and take it further.
You know, I was told to do 50 of the breathing techniques, 50 of each, 2 times a day, but I do 75 of each 2 times a day.
Okay. Hey, well, whatever does it for you, brother.
Good. Thank you. I was asking you that because I was on the field to see if you thought that that was too much, what, but you don't feel that that's too much. There's not too much breathing, is it? You can't put too much oxygen in your lungs.
I mean, we are in a place that's right now is being deprived of oxygen. That's why people keep becoming smaller. People are becoming smaller and smaller due to the oxygen levels on the planet. Now, some people do come from more pygmy or dwarf-like species of humanoids, but not all of us. Okay, and humans and animals and everything else becoming smaller, and that's a side effect of lower oxygen levels. So no, you at this point anyway, you can't get too much oxygen because there's not a lot of it in the first
Okay.
place.
That's right. All right. All right. Good. Good. Okay.
So did I, at least for now, did I give some clarity on at least what you
Very
shared.
much. Very much so, sir. Very
My
much.
man.
Excellent.
Very
Excellent.
much.
So you can stay on course and listen. And if anything else comes up, I'm going to end up opening the line shortly for people to make comments and ask questions or whatever it may be. And if you have another one, you're welcome to share if that's the case.
All right. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you. I do appreciate you.
I myself am strange and unusual.